Tonight from Irving High School, ICTN presents the District 7-6A Game of the Week as the Lady Tigers of Irving play host to the Lady Vikings of Nimitz. And Happy New Year, everyone. John Nelson along with Rob Woolman, our first telecast of 2018. Irving district-wise at 1-2, likewise the Lady Vikings of Nimitz. Both teams in kind of a rebuilding mode for this year. Irving overall at 4-15. The Lady Vikings will start tonight. Mendoza, Wilson, Gonzalez, and Wills. And for Irving, it'll be Smith, Wright, Austin, Brooklyn Wrights, and Guatemala. Nimitz also 1-2 in district play, averaging 40 points a game. We're set to go, and here's Rob Willman with a call.
All right, thank you very much, and Happy New Year to you too as well. As we kick things off, the Vikings control the opening tip. They're in the dark uniforms, and the Irving Lady Tigers in the white uniforms. First drive to the basket by Brianna Knight, leading this team in scoring with just over 11 points a ball game. The key player for the Lady Vikings, just to the right of your screen, the 4'11 sophomore Brittany Gonzalez. Really great guard play under and outside as well. That shot is missed by Knight. And here come the Lady Tigers. That is Wright. That is Courtney Wright, and her sister also playing on this team as well. Size advantage definitely tilting on the side of the Lady Tigers. As Coach Angie Evans told me before the game, hey, it is what it is. And right there is 2 points by the senior guard, Micah Austin, for the first points of the ball game.
Two seniors, a couple of sophomores, and a junior, the starting five tonight for Irving.
Right off the bat, it looks like the Lady Tigers will try to contain the guard. Meanwhile, a nice put-up and basket that time by Wilson, number 23, the 5'3 freshman. A lot of youngsters on this Lady Viking team. They had a handful of returners that lasted a few weeks and then decided they didn't want to put in the effort anymore. And the coach said she brought up the youngsters instead. And this is Smith, little point guard, right around the horn to her other sister, Wright. Top of the key, Smith drives, blocked underneath by Wills. Here come the Lady Vikings, coast to coast, the hoop and the harm. That is Knight with 2 points.
Brianna tried to do it all herself a couple of minutes ago, but this time able to find the mark on the left side, and the 5'9 senior with a chance to expand the lead to 3.
Shooting 58% so far this year from the free throw line. And so far, the Lady Vikings have been able to score without really using their little point guard to set things up. And that goes in for Knight, so she's got 3 points. And the Lady Vikings on top by a score of 5-2. Lady Vikings 8-9 overall. Lady Tigers 5-15 coming into tonight's game. Working inside. Once again, it's pushed out by Austin. She misses the mark here. And the Lady Vikings will push it up the court. There is Gonzalez, all 4'11 of her. Great ball handler. Second on the team in scoring when she gets free with the three-pointers as she's trying to work free here, but stolen away by Smith. And Smith rattles it home for her first 2 points of the game for the sophomore. And the lead is down to 1. We played about a minute and a half or so here in the first quarter, 2018. Last time we saw you was high school football on ICTN.
That was a year ago.
Yeah, it was. Seems that way, doesn't it? Brittany feeds inside. Nice little ball handling missed by Tiara Wilson.
Trying to go over Guatemala, who is a lot taller, and nothing developing in the paint.
And Wilson, the 5'3 freshman, playing with the older girls, but playing pretty good, and she's a pretty good ball handler. You know, that's the thing, John, we see, especially with girls basketball, is just trying to find someone that can handle and push the ball up the court and move it around. Right from the corner, misses everything. Austin is there off the backboard. Rebounded by Knight over to Gonzalez. And here come the Lady Vikings again.
Knight with 3 early rebounds for Nimitz, number 2.
That's Mendoza. We saw her last year, a turnover. picked up by Smith. She's already scored 2 like this on a fast break, and she gets that one to fall.
Hit from behind, and the sophomore will go to the line and try to give the Lady Tigers a lead of 2. Irving coming off a loss to North Mesquite, 65-45. And again, 1-2 in district. They open up district play defeating Grand Prairie by 5.
Yeah, both Grand Prairie schools bringing up the bottom in district play. Don't see that very often. Smith will take her time and deliver and scores with the free throw. So she now has 5 points, and the Lady Tigers turn up the heat a little bit in the backcourt, and I don't think Coach Evans thought her girls were in a position to handle the press. So she calls timeout.
That's exactly right, as the Lady Tigers able to put 4 within an area of 10 feet. Irving comes in averaging 31 points a game in district play. The Lady Vikings come in averaging 40. And when they do shoot the 3, they hit over 30%, hitting 32% of their 3-pointers.
Here's a look at the district standings as you take a look at Angie Evans. No surprises really for the top 4 teams. You're gonna see Duncanville all the time anyway. DeSoto's had a strong program. Cedar Hill, MacArthur. And then, like we were alluding to earlier, after the 3 Irving schools, and you've got the 2 Grand Prairie schools, and they probably opened with all the 3 tough teams. Gonzalez, nice feed, but a travel call against Knight. So you can see what Gonzalez can do with the basketball, and that's her forte, is running the offense and dishing the passes.
She's 4'11", but goes side to side as quick as anybody.
Doesn't she, though? Lady Tigers with 1 substitution, Jacqueline Webb, 30 in there now. And they've moved Austin over to the left wing. This is right from the corner. In and out. Rebounded by Wills. And this is Gonzalez. Halfway point of quarter number 1. A little crosstown rivalry action. Game coming up next, the boys. And she just handed that one away to Courtney. Right over to Smith. And Brooklyn Wright, the senior, with her first 2 points. And a lot of hands touching the ball and scoring here in the early go for both teams, actually. Johnson, Leah Johnson, number 5, now in for the Lady Vikings. She's going to be tied up, possession arrow pointing toward the left, and that means the Lady Vikings will keep possession. But, John, you can see what the Lady Tigers are trying to do, and that's really forced the issue with a lot of pressing so far.
Especially on the sides.
So a little confusion on who's going to throw the ball out, and Coach Robinson said, wait a minute, the arrow should go the other direction. And she's right.
Having last scored, yeah.
If you recall, it was Nimitz that won the tip to start the first quarter, so that means the next possession arrow should go to Irving. And it does, so they have straightened that one out. They might have had the books correct, they just didn't have the light correct. So here we go. Tigers get the ball. Still going for the 3-pointer. That missed its mark. Surprised that the Lady Tigers have not tried to work the ball inside maybe a little more, seeing that they might have the height advantage in a couple of players here. Meanwhile, Wilson working left wing, a pair of 23s on each other. Courtney Wright, sophomore, on her. High screen, goes right, forces the issue, but she's going to draw the foul. And that'll bring the freshman to the free throw line to shoot 2.
Lady Vikings, foul shooting wise, hitting right at 52%. First team foul committed by the Lady Tigers, and a couple of shots upcoming for the freshman, the only freshman on the varsity.
Shooting right about 34% from the free throw line. And misses that one right on cue. Meanwhile, a substitution as Tori Faulkner comes in. Kendra Wills will set down, both about 5'6", not giving up anything in height there. Second free throw is good. And the sub coming in, Diana Martinez. So Coach Evans says, you know, I don't want to use her because I need someone for the JV. So I'm going to try to hold her out. Well, that lasted not even the full first quarter.
5 minutes.
Yeah. Smith around the horn. That's Courtney right back to Smith. Now they're trying to work it into the high post. Courtney has taken a couple of shots outside that perimeter, yet to find its mark. I would say most of our points have come in either fast breaks or inside the baseline, but a pretty shot there by Courtney Wright, her first 2 points for the sophomore forward. And the home team has inched back with a 5-point lead in quarter number 1. They started a little slow. Lady Vikings caught them off guard, I guess, in the early go. Here's another run to the basket and a blocking foul charged against number 31, which is Micah Austin.
And another look. I believe I said team foul number 1. This is the third. It failed to put one up earlier. That's team foul number 3. And a couple of opportunities for Wilson.
Misses the front end of that. Think of Austin, she shuffled her feet just a little bit toward the end. I mean, she was in great position to draw the foul. She just needed...
Has she gone straight up?
Yeah, just plan it and go. 2 straight misses, but a rebound by Knight. Kicks it out to Gonzalez. Gonzalez trying to work free and now resets the offense at the top under 2 minutes. First quarter. Oh, nice little give and go, and the basket by the freshman.
Faulkner, who just checked in, the junior, with a nice pass underneath.
Boy, there's a long shot by Wright and a 3-pointer. And Courtney now has 5 left free, way on the top of the key. That's the thing about high school girls basketball. A lot of them can make those underneath or they can work free, but it's the long ones, as Brittany misses that one. It's the jump shots that separate one team from the other. Smith drives, puts it up, misses. There's Courtney for the rebound.
Great position underneath, straight up, and kisses it off the glass.
Backcourt pressure, Irving turns it over. The Lady Vikings will contain control. Down by 8 here as you take a look at Coach Robinson on the sideline. 4th year at Irving High School. Gonzalez between the legs. Knight pushes it a little too hard. Courtney rebounds and Smith will push it up the court. Lady Vikings doing a good job of keeping the Lady Tigers outside the paint. Bounce pass. And a travel as Martinez shuffled her feet on the bounce pass.
And Naomi able to collect it, but it's a little dance step near the baseline.
So Faulkner will inbound if someone can separate themselves from their opponent. Johnson tried to save it, and it's kicked out of bounds. Possession to Nimitz.
Last touch by Austin on the side, number 31.
Well, you have Johnson in there, who's a sophomore. You've got Faulkner, who's a junior. Gonzalez is a sophomore and a freshman. A lot of youth out there. A drive to the hoop. Follow up by Knight. And it goes out of bounds. How many times, John, have you seen it where someone, instead of putting the ball right back up, they got to bounce it once or twice?
Got to check the air pressure. It's still there. It'll still bounce.
Johnson to inbound. Gonzalez left alone. And on the far corner is also Wilson.
See if they can hit a 3.
Well, we're under 10 seconds. Could be the last shot of the first quarter. Gonzalez trying to find some screens for separation, and she slid the foot. And now the Lady Tigers will have just a whisker over 2 seconds to try to score. Wilson providing pressure against Smith. The toss picked off at the buzzer. Nice effort. It goes wide left. So we finish a quarter. The home team on top, 16-8, back with the second quarter in a moment. So after a slow beginning by the Lady Tigers, they have built a 18-6 lead after one quarter of play. Pretty even scoring too. 4 different players in the books in the first quarter. Only 2 players, Knight and Wilson, have scored for the Lady Vikings. Shot from the corner, good. And Gonzalez, who averages just over 10 points a game, left free and hit a pretty one. And how about an answer? No. Wright gets her own rebound. Baseline, forced it in and out. And Brooklyn couldn't make that one fall. You would have to pretty much guess that someone's got to get hot from outside to separate themselves from the opposition. Palming called on that.
Wilson tried to drive low, but turned it over right in front of Courtney Wright. They haven't put up the 2 extra points, have they?
Yeah.
That's right.
Around the horn. And stolen. Mendoza over to Gonzalez.
They just score here.
Yeah, score here and you're back in this thing. Mendoza. Saw Mendoza a little last year on this team. Wilson, oh, pretty shot, count it.
Fronted by Martinez, and Wilson able to get the shot off. It's her 7th point. And another look, as you'll see Martinez slide over and right off the fingertips. And a 3-point game could be cut to 2 right now.
Although we know how the free throws have been for Taria. She gets that one. 3-point play. And just like that.
8-point lead has now been shaved to 2.
Yep. Irving looking for their first 2 points of the second quarter. As Marino now has checked in, number 3 for the Lady Tigers. Austin around. Over to Guadarrama. So a lot of fresh faces in there. And stolen away right to the hands of Wills. Gonzalez double teamed and it's stolen away. Out to Austin with the layup. She's hammered hard in the foul. Woo. You hear coaches say, well, make them earn it. That's going to be a make them earn it right there because she got hacked pretty good.
The imprint's still on the padding. But Mariana Marino causing the deflection, and then the outlet breakaway by Austin, who is fouled hard.
You know, Wilson pretty lucky that hit her forearm and didn't come across the face. Missed the free throw. And another sub, and Wilson will check out.
Wyatt Johnson, sophomore, back in.
Yep, 5'5". Austin trying to make at least 1 out of 2, and she does so. So if there is such a thing as a good foul, that was a good foul. Lady Tigers continue to press a little in the backcourt. Gonzalez behind her back. Little 360, thank you. Bounce pass over. Johnson goes baseline, and going to be a push against Irving.
That is the 5th team foul. And Coach Robinson about to insert Courtney Wright.
Yep, 1 right for another. In this case, 2 rights still make a right.
Courtney, the sophomore, in Brooklyn, the senior. You can't go wrong.
Oh, left wide open. Kendra Wills with her first 2 points, coming off an inbounds pass and caught the Lady Tigers napping defensively. Guadarrama, by far the biggest player out there right now, number 34, sets a high screen. Austin's going to be caught for traveling.
And tried to go around Guadarrama.
There's some new basketballs this year. Notice they're slick. I can see the logo a lot better.
Yeah, there's an area that is all silver.
Yeah.
Takes up much of the panel.
Nice little give and go wheels. Baseline and a foul drawn. Brianna Knight will go to the line. You notice, John, that most of their attack offensively have been to the right side of the lane. Haven't seen a lot to the left. They could say they're a right-handed team, or that's just the way they set things up. But
yeah, a couple of drives have initiated from that part.
Knight misses the first. Two more fresh bodies come in for the Lady Tigers. Naomi Martinez in and Jacqueline Webb in. Coach Robinson using pretty much everyone on the bench here in the first half, and Knight gets 1 out of 2 from the free throw line, and we're tied at 17.
Nimitz 4 of 6 in the foul shooting here in the first half.
They very quietly have snuck up on the Lady Tigers. Smith with a gunner gets it to fall. Smith now with 7 points. Lady Tigers have regained the lead, 19-17. Mendoza and Austin going at it. Knight waiting patiently, their number 2.
Thought about it.
Yeah, and she drives and misses. There's Mendoza with the rebound, and boy, a nice job of hustling. Or is it Johnson, excuse me, number 5. Nice job of hustle, John, to get the offensive rebound.
Yeah, it was. He had Webb on one side. That's the 7th team foul.
Oh, the all-important free throws. Lady Tigers have only been to the line 3 times in the first half. She missed them both there. 8 times for the Lady Vikings to the free throw line.
Well, a 3 would give them the lead.
Wills, little hook shot missed. Guadarrama with the rebound, and she's going to be fouled. I don't think we're in the bonus yet.
That is the 4th committed by the Lady Vikings. As you see, the scant 2-point lead. Anybody's contest right here in the first half.
Naomi Martinez, 11. We saw her last year. That is Austin Smith. Martinez working the wings. Again, Guadarrama is by far one of the taller ones out there, although she goes up with Knight pretty good. And that one falls. And now it's 21-17. A good job by Smith there.
It was, as she challenged Wills in the lane.
Now the Tigers, just when you think they've lost a step or two, they come back with some back-to-back points. Gonzalez for 3 misses.
She's 1 of 3 in 3-point attempts.
Martinez hustles to get the rebound. Under 3.5 till the break. All slapped away by Knight. And Coach Evans will bring Wilson back in. And Robinson will bring Courtney Wright back in. Naomi Martinez will sit down. Both coaches not shy about using their bench at all, John.
Well, they've used just about everybody that's suited up tonight.
I think so. The bench isn't that deep for the Lady Vikings.
Headed this way, it could only get a glimpse of that silver
basketball
logo.
Yeah.
It's moving too fast. I think Spalding has it.
It is Spalding. So, yeah, only 3 players on the bench for Coach Evans and the Lady Vikings. And Coach Robinson a little more fortunate with 5 that she can choose from. Oh, a little miscommunication.
Nobody home. It was all white underneath.
Well, Martinez thought Wilson was going to cut. Or Mendoza thought Wilson was going to cut inside. Didn't do it. Although we've seen kind of a nice ebb and flow as far as who's taking the lead, we haven't seen a lot of quick spurts in scoring, if you will. It's Each team taking its time, and very quickly, here comes Gonzalez. Gonzalez is going to go coast to coast and doesn't get the roll.
Ducked under Trinity Smith as it goes out of bounds. You know, Rob, even though this is early in district, both teams 1 and 2 in district play, this is kind of big because after tonight, one of these two teams will have a district record of 2 and 2. And early in the season, 2 and 2 looks pretty good in this tough district.
It does, you know. It's not a secret at all that you're usually playing for that 4th playoff spot. And so you've got to make the most count. You've got to beat your Irving counterparts to have a chance. And with maybe the Gophers not as good, you know, who knows about the Warriors? They just played some tough teams. And there's the jump ball and the possession arrow this time, pointing to Irving.
Well, the district, I mean, if you could just get rid of the twin Ds, Duncanville and DeSoto,
yeah.
you have a pretty good chance.
Yeah, those two are just go ahead and just let them have it. But you don't know about Cedar Hill year in and year out.
Not this year.
Them and South, you both, that's kind of the wild card. And, you know, Susie's always going to have a tough team there at MacArthur. There's a drive and a basket by Austin. All done by the senior working baseline. And she's given her team a 23-17 lead.
We'll see the Lady Cards in a couple of weeks.
It'll be interesting to see if the 2 Ds, as you say, come back to this district as the realignment is right around the corner.
About a month away.
Going to the line is Wilson. She's already been there 5 times tonight, 2 out of 5. What do you think about the early signing period in high school football?
Pros and cons. I mean, there have already been some decommitments from those that committed early.
Yeah. So
it kind of hurts the teams in the playoffs that go deep. But then again, why not have it in the summer?
Yeah, if you're going to go that far,
yeah.
Right? 23-19. Tigers on top. Brooklyn Wright feeds underneath. Boy, wide open was Webb. Couldn't get it back, but put back is Brooklyn Wright, her 2nd bucket of the ball game. And the lead expands by 6.
They led by as many as 8.
You know, John, this end of the 2nd quarter reminds me of the first where Nimitz really needed to get some points to finish the quarter within striking distance.
Yeah, those are open look, and Wills unable to connect from 15 feet out.
Smith goes the distance, can't get it. Underneath there is Webb. Wright tries to give chase on the baseline, and it goes out of bounds.
Had it, but kind of stumbled trying to reel it back in.
Well, you can't complain about the effort by both teams. It's not like anybody's standing around, both making the most of it. So 6-point Lady Tiger lead coming up to a half a minute before the break. Gonzalez stops her dribble. Has to give it up over to Johnson. She gets the ball back. Last time she didn't get an open shot. This time she does. Rebounded by Knight. And there is a foul on the floor, and it might be Courtney Wright fouling Brianna Knight. And Brianna goes back to the free throw line. At the end of the 1st quarter, Gonzalez tried to work free for a shot, couldn't, and got all tangled up and turned the ball over.
In the bonus now.
This time she's able to work free, and the shot is missed by Knight. Oh, the dreaded missed free throw. Under 15 to go. Smith with a nice nifty move. Wright goes to her right, but blocked nicely by Knight. Knight going to go the distance and scores.
Steal introduce.
And a strong way to finish for the Lady Vikings, who outscored their counterparts 15-9 in that quarter. And they're only down by 4 as we have a break. We'll take a break and come back for the 2nd half, so stay with us.
Halftime here at Irving High, a nice tidy 25-21 lead by the Lady Tigers. They opened up a 16-8 lead at 1 point. As we take a look at some of the first half highlights, we'll focus in first of the Lady Vikings and Faulkner, who just came in with a nice handoff to Ari Wilson underneath. And then Gonzalez, her only three. She took 3 attempts, able to sink that one from the right elbow. And then the drive by Wilson underneath. And some of the Lady Vikings getting back in this contest. A 3 on the board for Courtney Wright, the sophomore. She bottoms that one out. The drive by Trinity Smith underneath, and Wright, the recovery on the other side, pours in 2 of her 7. And then Micah Austin underneath, as she's able to score and collecting 2 of her 7 points. Tiara Wilson leading all scorers with 10. Brianna Knight next tie with 6, and Gonzalez hitting the 3. Trinity Smith, Courtney Wright, and Micah Austin each scoring 7 points. Brooklyn Wright added 4 in the first half. The Lady Vikings, as Rob said, outscoring Irving in that second quarter 13-9. As you see Coach Robinson at year number 4, former assistant at Plano East, visiting with her earlier tonight, talking about the Lady Horns. Said, I haven't had a chance to see UT play. She said, well, you know, they're scoring a lot of points. It was tough to win at Tennessee, but they're very good this year.
Well, they were starting to get good last year. She was telling me how excited she was for the team. You could see that, you know, they were heading in the right direction as far as talent was concerned.
Her sister played at Tennessee, and of course Katrina at University of Texas. Says we are underway.
All right, the Lady Vikings going left to right in the darker of the 2 uniforms. There's a bounce over to Mendoza. They try to get it to Wills, but Wills either didn't see it, missed the play, turnover, timeout, and just like that, we have a substitution.
Yeah, Faulkner going to come in for Wills.
Yeah. Don't know if that's one of those coaching yanks, you know, what you think about what he didn't hustle down there. She's, when I say she, Coach Avery, talking to Wills in a coaching tone. Fast break. Left underneath is Knight. She's fouled. She'll go to the free throw line.
Got the nice pass from Gonzalez, able to turn and shoot and draw the 2-shot foul. Nimitz in the first half, 6 of 13 in foul shooting. Turns around at the right time, able to draw the 2-shot foul.
Knight with 6, makes the first free throw. She was 2 out of 4 from the line in the first half. Coach Avery again sitting at the end of the bench near Wills, talking to her, coaching her up as Knight misses the second end of that 2-shot foul.
7 of 14 in foul shooting so far.
Both Wright girls in right now. Smith from 3, got it. First 3-pointer for Smith. Trinity, who wears those pants up just a little bit higher than the rest of her teammates. You need to pull those down. It's cold outside.
18 degrees outside.
What a way to start the new year. Nice and cold. Hope everybody's heater is working. There's a turnover. And Wilson will go past Courtney Wright on her way to trying to find Gonzalez. A little tanglement here. Gonzalez left free, misses, rebound nicely by Knight, goes to the hoop and scores. Power move by Brianna as she took care of the offensive rebound.
Maybe that's the motive, have Gonzalez take the threes and Knight cover up underneath.
Just rebound and put back the offensive board. 4-point Irving lead. They go inside, and a shot forced by Guadarrama is missed. And here comes Gonzalez again, looking for an open player. Doesn't find anyone open, has to reload. Wilson using the screen to try to break free, can't. Mendoza right wing. Mendoza, no one was there. I really think she could have took the shot.
Yeah.
Somehow Brianna Knight goes between 2 players kisses that off the window, and the Irving lead is down to 2.
Mendoza might have got away with a traveling call.
Maybe so. Smith forced that one, but gets the foul anyway. Well, the pace nice and fast here in the third quarter after a short 10-minute break. Again, we'll have the boys right after this one on ICTN. Guarantee it get a little louder here in a few minutes, but kids coming right back from Christmas break, you know they're excited. Ha-ha.
Hey, sports is a great equalizer.
Well, the thing about basketball is, do you really have a Christmas break? Nah.
All the tournaments and district games over the holidays, no.
Football is the best one as far as breaks and everything is concerned. Smith misses the second. Wilson fights to try to get it back. Stolen, still on the baseline. Gonzalez gets past Austin. Numbers on her side. Nice little feed, a wait, a shot, and wide open miss by Faulkner. Outside, Johnson misses. Knight tries to rebound, and she does. Mendoza's free. Oh, they had Johnson on the baseline, but she couldn't get there in time. And Guadarrama kind of cut off the baseline a little bit. Here on the weak side, Gonzalez for 3.
Her second three-pointer. She's now 2 of 6 in threes tonight.
So we played 3 minutes, and we're tied up at 29. And Coach Robinson says, I've seen enough here in the third quarter, and calls a timeout.
Nimitz outscoring the Lady Tigers here to start the second half, 8-4. Faulkner turns and lobs it outside of Gonzalez on that right side. She likes to shoot from that right side of the court on either end, and connects on her second three. Team three-pointer number 2 for the Lady Vikes. Irving won this game they won both games last year. In fact, the winning team has swept the season series in each of the last 7 years. 46-42 in the first contest, and the 55-29 outburst in the second meeting as of a year ago.
Boy, that 2013-2014 season that Irving really handled Nimitz. I mean, look at that one game.
39-point difference in one of them.
That 51-17. That's probably the game we did, knowing our luck.
That was only a 34-point difference.
Yeah, sure. All right, so let's see what the Tigers do after the timeout. Naomi Martinez is in. Tunerde Smith stays in, the sophomore, point guard, number 1. I don't think she's taken a breather tonight. But Robinson has really done a lot of shuffling with their lineup, more or less around the post or forward area. The left side is Austin. Now back to Smith. Austin, Guadarrama, and nice footwork and stolen by Knight. Knight hanging on to it, tries to hit that one off the glass, and there's a traveling call against Martinez. Man, if Knight was able to get that one to fall, that would have been a pretty shot. She almost did a 180 behind the back or over the head layup, and just kind of got caught awkward, wouldn't fall. Ball's turned over, and Nimitz, did they have to call a timeout? I think so.
Yeah, they did. They used their first timeout of the second half.
Evans a little upset and also concerned they weren't able to get the ball in bounds. We've seen that, twice tonight. Just not a lot of movement away from the ball to separate yourself to get open to get the pass.
Yeah, it's either good defense or everybody not on the same page as soon as that ball is given to you to regain possession. It's two bunched together.
You see the Lady Tigers, 34 is Guadarrama. Also in there is Austin. Webb is in there. Webb did not start tonight. Neither did Martinez, and she's in there as well, and that's Martinez with a nice play on the baseline to steal that one away. There's where the height advantage came into play. A good hustle here. Pass goes out of bounds, but Wilson with a nice grab to knock that one out of bounds. Boy, watch how far, right there, she came to knock that one away.
Tried to get it to Smith in the corner.
That's good hustle. You like to see a play like that. Austin give and go to Smith. Wills is right there, and Wills pretty much caused the turnover.
Yep, she did.
Kept her ground and just, like you said before, just go straight up, and that's what she did. The shuffle of the feet by Smith and the turnover. We're still tied at 29. We're about halfway through quarter number 3. Might come down to the very last play. Who knows? Or usually it's those 1-2 minute stretches.
I'm looking for a lead change here.
Are you?
Putting in a
Sooner or
call
later,
right
you
here.
call, it's going to happen right here.
Lead
Is that what you're
change.
saying? Okay. Smith, who has 1 3-pointer tonight. Martinez, they're just working it around the horn. That could have been a travel by Webb. Austin, baseline, runner, and gets it to fall.
9 points for the senior.
So, like you predicted, a lead change.
1 for 1 in the year 2018. I'll stop. That's it.
You might as well. And stolen away by Smith. Here comes Wilson on the weak side and forces the free throw. Boy, Wilson was opposite side, far right, and she's going to come out of nowhere right about there.
Mm-hmm. He went about 85 feet and able to draw a crowd.
Trinity's first shot, not there.
Second team foul committed by Nimitz.
And a substitution this time as Faulkner comes in. Knight will sit down. So a little roster shift and a little change by Evans on what she's done so far tonight. Second free throw missed, and Smith has missed her last 3 free throw shots. Johnson trying to work around Austin. Faulkner with the pivot foot. She can dribble the basketball. She didn't have to pass it, but she gives it up, and Austin goes baseline, and she draws the foul against Johnson. A lot of stoppage in play here in the third quarter.
At the line, Austin, the senior, 1 of 2 in foul shooting. It's a third team foul committed by Nimitz. Well, their last 4 haven't even been close.
Here comes Mendoza. Faulkner will sit down. Now Mendoza comes in. Missed them both. Offensive rebound will not fall for Webb. And a foul in the backcourt by Guadarrama. Boy, that fourth quarter could be free throw line city, Mr. Nelson.
It's too close, 31-29.
Brooklyn Wright comes in. Webb will sit down. Haven't seen Brooklyn.
Is that why you wrote down 2 Fs? Foul fest?
Yes, foul fest. Or fast forward.
No rewind.
No rewind. Oh, good D. Ball's loose. Gonzalez, 3-ball side pocket, not there. Good hustle by Mendoza. Keeps it in play. She loses to Smith. And a foul is going to be called in the backcourt. And I believe that's going to be against Smith or Mendoza. Maybe Mendoza on the push.
It is.
Knight will come back in.
That is the 4th team foul. The Lady Tigers here in the third quarter have committed 2.
Duncanville on top, 25-1 this year. Also Cedar Hill right up there, or DeSoto as well. Stepping on the baseline. Guadarrama. Turnover, Irving.
This is the 20th game of the year for Irving. Again, both teams 1 and 2 in District 7-6A. Will it be 7-6A next year?
Oh, wide open baseline. Pretty move. Good shot by Johnson. Her first 2 points of the ball game, but played it well on the base, off the backboard and in. And we're tied again at 31 and a turnover.
Another breakup.
Yep. Johnson can't work past Smith. And Gonzalez will go back to the point. 4'11" sophomore. Saw her last year, her first year, a freshman, playing up with the big girls, if you will. Knight misses that one on the baseline. And here comes Austin. Austin's going to take it all the way. Forced it. Wills rebounds. Quick outlet. Oh, they got a break. Knight's going to go coast to coast and miss the layup. Oh, my goodness.
Well, she better get back on defense.
Yes. And a nice defensive play there.
Will never be an easier attempt. And Knight just off the mark. The snowbird melted.
Global warming in the gym.
That outscored Irving 10-6 here in the third.
Inbound Smith. A runner. Count it. Smith had 9 in the first half. 6 already here in the second. This is a good head fake and just a little runner that fell, and now she has a chance for the three-point play with under a minute to go, and missed it. Well, she's left about 4 points on the court with the free throw. Going the other way is Wilson, who had 10 in the first half and scores her first basket with under a minute in the third quarter. So Lady Tigers have done a good job defensively keeping her in check. And Katrina Robinson calls time with about 36 seconds to go.
Brianna Knight and Tiara Wilson both in double digits now for Nimitz. Tiara with 12 points, and Brianna has poured in 11. 23 of the 33 points.
State polls have a lot of teams from this district represented. Of course, Duncanville, and there's DeSoto. And when you have 2 teams that are like 1 and 3, or the first 4 or whatever in the state, you know you have your work cut out for you.
Well, you look at some of the teams that did well in football this year, and about 7 of the 10 had great seasons in football. That kid from Richardson that committed earlier to Texas A&M, I believe he's playing in San Antonio this week in the Armed Forces All-Star Contest.
From the corner, missed. Offensive rebound by Brooklyn, not there. Ball still loose in the paint. And they're saying that Kendra Wills touched it on the baseline out of bounds. Brenda Mendoza, number 10, will come in, and Wilson will set down for the Lady Vikings with 23 seconds and some change left before the final quarter here. Girls high school basketball. Austin fakes one way. Something's got to happen here quickly for the Lady Tigers.
Can they get a shot off?
Well, nope. Broken up under 3 seconds. Brittany's going to do a little half hook shot. That's where the size difference really hurt her, as Smith kind of cut down the gap a little bit, and she wasn't able to get anything on it. But we have finished 3 quarters, and we're tied at 33. Back with the final quarter in a moment. So the Lady Vikings outscore the Lady Tigers in the third quarter to even things up at 33 apiece as we head for the final stanza of district play between some crosstown rivals, and not a bad little game actually between these two. There's a drive, no whistle, now the whistle,
well,
and a charge called. This time Wills does what we suggested earlier, and that's just stand her ground and not shuffle the feet. And that'll go against Courtney Wright on the first possession of quarter number 4. Looking over at the sideline, and Wilson, 23, for the Lady Vikings, being taped up. I'll have to keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, underneath, Knight does another good job offensively to get the board and the putback, or try to, and she's going to draw the foul. But Wilson, the young little star, the freshman, the 5'3" point guard, looks like she's getting taped up. Maybe her finger. Keep an eye on that as Knight hits the front end of the free throw.
Well, the charging foul and this last foul within a span of 20 seconds.
Second good. Saw her there. Trainer going to tape those 2 fingers together. That usually means a jam or something on one of the hands. So Lady Vikings with a 2-point lead as we start the 4th period of play. Austin kicks it out. Long shot is missed by Wright. Rebounded by Johnson. And Gonzalez will slow down the pace as her team nurses a 2-point lead, and stolen away Johnson and Austin. Possession arrow goes again to Irving. John, is it just me, or it seems like every possession arrow? Okay, now it's going toward Nimitz. At first I was like,
2 of the first 3.
Yeah, it seemed like went their way. But this will be a Lady Viking way, and they can't get it in bounds. Somehow they manage. Knight kicks it to Mills, and they try to hit Mendoza, and she wasn't able to handle the pass, and a turnover.
Well, she got behind Jacqueline Webb, but the pass just about a foot too tall.
So Wilson now back on the bench, taped up, the left hand being taped as Courtney Wright hits a 3. And that changes the even score to an odd number. And just like that, the Lady Tigers back on top.
And Courtney now in double figures with 10.
Oh, a traveling call. Nice defensive play by Sarah Guadarrama as she just appeared out of nowhere. And the offensive player just couldn't do anything. She looks up, and it made her alter her move, and she traveled.
Kind of undecided and slid right into her.
So the Tigers, every time they lose the lead, it seems to energize them, and they come up with, a couple of baskets in a row to regain that lead. It's been a common theme here in this ball game. Smith tried to use the screen, couldn't. Austin kicks it out to Courtney Wright. Courtney, left, pulls up, about a 10-footer. Back iron, ball is knocked around. Do we get a whistle on a tie? No, we don't. Lady Vikings able to work it free. Gonzalez, baseline over to Johnson. Johnson almost has her pocket picked. They go to the far side of Mendoza. She misses a shot. Ball is picked up by Austin. Austin, she has her pocket picked. There's Wills left alone and gets the basket and the foul.
A basket and one, and Brittany Gonzalez able to find Wills, and a quick shot and a 3-point opportunity here. Here's Gonzalez. Wills waiting and able to get it off, and then the foul from behind. The fouls are now even at 5.
Well, they're saying that
is that number 5?
Yeah, number 5 on Guadarrama. Number 34 has fouled out without a basket. Her presence more defensively and more size-wise. So she will sit down as Wills looks for the 3-point play. Can't get it to happen. 4 points now on the night for Kendra. 2 big ones there to give her club a 1-point lead. As we close in on the 5-minute mark of this ball game. Good defense being applied by Mendoza, and does she get the timeout in time?
Yeah.
Well, Coach Robinson looking at the fact that her players could not break free. He calls a quick timeout.
A 30-second timeout, and you called it, Rob, with Guadarrama out. It's going to be up to the Wrights now, rebounding-wise, to help the Lady Tigers. But look at this defense. I mean, the swarm, the grab.
Well, maybe the lack of the grab is the key there. Maybe not making contact and slapping. They were able to kind of contain her.
1 point either way, and the fouls again, even at 5. Could come into play. We say it will.
Mark it down. Mark it down now.
Has Brooklyn scored tonight?
4 points, yeah. And she's in there now along with her sister, Courtney. Webb seeing a lot of playing time now. Courtney for 3. Back iron. Strong rebound by Knight. Knight comes out of the pack, and she's going to be fouled from behind by Smith, who took a tumble afterwards. And hopefully she didn't hurt anything in the process. More of a lost some skin, maybe. You know, when you fall down. Let's just to the right on that play.
I heard her hit, now being helped up.
Yeah, a skin mark. Yep, she's a little ginger as she walks back. She has, as some of the girls on these teams, they wear the knee braces really high. You can see hers, how high they go up. Watch this from up top. Watch her just lost. Oh, she just kind of landed awkwardly. It wasn't that, you know, she is skinning anything or lost some skin. It's more of an awkward land on her body there, and gave her a second to kind of get everything together. Gonzalez. Well, Smith looks pretty good there playing defense. And a 5-second call as Smith forces the turnover, guarding Gonzalez closely for the 5 seconds. And the Lady Tigers get the ball back. I don't know if there's, you know, I guess Smith may be your go-to player. You know, if it gets to crunch time, is that the one you give the ball to?
Or Courtney Wright.
Yeah, Courtney. Courtney, side, got it. Another three-pointer, her second in this half. 3 overall three-pointers. And he called it, John.
Opens up a 2-point cushion.
Halfway through the final quarter. That goes off the hands of Micah Austin. And Wilson comes back in for Coach Evans and company. And Mendoza, the sophomore, will sit down. Wilson, who doesn't play like a freshman, can't tell it from this angle, but has the left hand taped. Index finger might have got jammed. Bounce pass to Gonzalez.
Well, the next Irving foul would put Nimitz in the bonus.
Ball loose right toward us. And it goes out of bounds.
Good security.
Yeah, thank goodness they pulled up, right?
First responders.
I'm glad this table is like made of concrete almost. If it was like padded, they'd have been right in our lap. And more importantly, they might have spilled my iced tea. Then we'd have been a world of hurt. Oh, nice pass inside. Webb with their first 2 points comes at a great time for the Lady Tigers.
That does.
They open up to a 4-point lead, and now can the Lady Vikings answer the call? Gonzalez almost with an errant pass. Wilson, first time we've seen her with the basketball since coming off the bench. She throws it away. Austin left alone going for the 2. Gets it and is fouled from behind by Johnson.
No reason to push, just let her have it.
Well, if you're going to push, make sure she misses. Right there, boy, anticipating the pass. Yeah, that was just a, I don't know. It was barely a touch. You're right. If you're going to do it with authority. Austin gets the free throw. That gives her 10 for the night. Puts her in double figures.
Well, they're down by 1. Now the Lady Tigers up by 7. Good outburst here in the 4th.
Gonzalez hits the three-pointer. third. She's got 9. Brings them back by 4. Left wide open is Webb. And Webb has made a couple of key baskets here deep inside the fourth quarter to give her team a 6-point lead with 2:46 to go. And Angie Evans says, I've got to have time, as I'm looking up and this game is starting to get away from us.
Oh, that nice play through the hands of Gonzalez. There's the tip, and Webb able to locate it and spin and get the shot off, giving the Lady Tigers now a lead by 6. There's Coach Evans, who took over from Pam Owens, who passed away 2 summers ago in Hawaii. She has been at Nimitz since '09, but now heading up the girls program, looking for a district win number 2. They'll have to come back from 6 to do it.
Well, we pretty much had a good idea coming in that this was a game that either team could walk out of the gym with a victory, that it was capable on both sides. Just who has the hot hand and who's going to separate themselves down the stretch. And right now it's Katrina Robinson's group with that 6-point lead.
Boys go ahead.
I was going to say, boys high school football championship weekend complete. Some surprises and a lot of repeats out there. Carthage winning again from East Texas.
Well, they brought a lot of people.
Did they?
The entire East Texas area was there.
I remember covering them back in the 90s when they won their first title.
And the coaches got a raise a week ago.
Perfect timing. Not perfect right there, as disgruntled Coach Evans is, or maybe I should say frustrated, as her player commits the double dribble.
Yeah, the Carthage head coach got a $10,000 raise a week after the championship game.
Hey, is it Frost that's going to Nebraska? He got a big raise, $5 million a year. Courtney Wright drives, misses, put back by Austin, missed. Ball is loose on the baseline, last touched by Brianna Knight. And Irving will control the basketball with 2:14 to go. Courtney Wright in the corner, counted 3 points.
That's big.
That is her 4th 3-pointer of the night. And that really pads their lead.
3-possession game now.
2 minutes to go, and there has to be some sense of urgency by the Lady Vikings at this point. Wilson's going to go, draw the foul, takes a tumble. She'll go to the free throw line.
That is the 7th, but she'll have 2 regardless. Chance to make it a 7-point game. You know, when you're talking about Coach Frost, it really says something about a coach that wants to stay and see his team go undefeated for the year, and he did.
One of many pretty good bowl games, as that one's missed, in college football down the stretch. Not too interested here on my part early on. You know, you got 6-6 teams playing each other. And like, But the last week really, that's what you think of college bowl games to be like. You know, last possession, less than a touchdown. Gonzalez for 3, quick release, ball loose, tipped out and knocked away by Webb. And it will continue to be the Lady Vikings possession, as Knight took a tumble pretty hard on her hip on that play. Some of the Irving football players you see just to the right of your screen coming in to make an appearance.
Juniors and seniors there.
Yep. Mendoza didn't know what to do, and then she tries to set up a screen and she gets caught with the foul, and that's one of many frustrating things, I think, as a high school coach, when you have a lot of young players on the team. And I mean, come on, let's face it, in this system you don't get like Duncanville, where the girls have been playing together since they were like in 6th grade, you know.
Well, you don't start 4 seniors.
Yeah. Austin and Smith, they can play catch if they want to, up by 9.
Looks pretty good for the Lady Tigers right here.
Yep, they had that stretch there in the fourth quarter that turned things around and have made the difference.
Led by 4 at the break.
right, and a blocking foul by Wills. I think if Wills would have stayed put, she kind of leaned into her a little bit to the right as Smith drove to the basket. Just then, Irving, they probably could have played catch and had another 10 or 9 seconds knocked off. See, watch her just to the right, kind of lean in a little bit. And gets called for the block. Smith makes a free throw, the first one she's made in the last 5 attempts.
Let's see, 17th point in this quarter for Irving.
And makes both of those free throws. Boy, Smith could be a complete player, John, if she could start icing the free throws, I think. I mean, granted, she missed 4, but, she's 4 out of 8. She's 50%. A lot of women's coaches would love to, high school particularly, would love to see a 50%er consistently. Gonzalez misses a three-pointer. There's Wilson. Wilson gets it to fall. Our first 2 points in a long time here in this half. Quieted down. And we're under 30 seconds to go and a big 9-point lead. I mean, you might as well just get the air out of the ball here and just pass it around a little bit and make the time go down. You're under 20 seconds. And it looks like that the Irving Tigers will have their second district win, as Austin is fouled en route to the basket there.
A win is a win is a win, as they'll go to 2-2 in district play.
Austin with a solid game, had 5 points in the first half, and she's currently at 5 points in the second half and gets that one to fall, so she's now at 11 overall.
3 in double figures. Came in averaging 31 points and in the 50s tonight.
Missed the second. Wilson fouled by Courtney Wright. That's a sophomore mistake right there, John. Up by 10, just let her go. Just let her rock and roll.
Got the game, and it'll extend another minute. Well, she's been to the line more than anyone tonight, Wilson.
She's missed 3 in a row after making 3 in a row at one time. Miss a second. Wills the nice offensive board. Couldn't get it to fall. 4.6 seconds to go. And they're just going to bounce that one out of here. And the Lady Tigers end up with the win 52-42 over the Lady Vikings. So Nimitz and company dropping to 1-3 in district play. Lady Tigers now up to 2-2 in district play, and win the first game of this season series here to start off the new year at the Tiger Fieldhouse, and they will take on the boys. Game coming up next, and that should be a dandy. As when those two teams play, madness ensues. That's coming up next. Again, the final 52-42. Irving on top. Back with more in a moment. Well, we're just moments away from the boys' game as we'll wrap up the opener, in which the Lady Vikings won or lost as Irving won at 52-42. But some great play by both teams, and we start with Brianna Knight. Good hustle inside for 2 there. Gonzalez hit a couple of trays, that one from the outside, and then nice little pass inside right here to Alana Johnson for 2 points. Nimitz kept it close, but boy, the fourth quarter things really started to open up for the Lady Tigers. And first of all, Trinity Smith with the three-pointer from the side. Then Micah Austin, nice little move on the baseline. She had a good game, and so did Courtney Wright. The sophomore exploded tonight with 3-pointers on both sides of the wing. Pretty much the difference maker down the stretch for the Lady Tigers as they win by 10. First of all, we take a look at Nimitz and their scoring. Wilson with 14, Knight 13, Gonzalez, Wills, and Johnson. 5 scores there for Nimitz. Then on the flip side of the Lady Tigers, Courtney Wright led all scorers, 16. Trinity Smith had 15, Austin 13. Webb and Wright had 4 apiece. So congratulations to the Lady Tigers who come out victorious in that one. But now we turn to the boys' side. And always a fun matchup, Mr. Nelson, when we see the Tigers and the Vikings play. We have had games come right down to the last possession. Might see a little of that tonight and see some familiar faces for Coach Joel Donaldson's group, especially the big guy underneath, Destin Ecke, who averages about 14 a ball game. There's your starters, Hopkins, Sherman, Allen, Ecke, and Johnson. And then on the flip side, for Coach Stephen Perry, who seems like he's been here since the school was built, you got Union, Trey Nelson, Radford, Belton, and Avery, your starting 5 for the Irving Tigers. Size on both teams. You got Daryl Belton, 6'3" senior for the Irving Tigers going against Ecke, so that'll be a key matchup as well. And with the call, biting at the bit, John Nelson.
All right, Rob, our first game of 2018 on the boys' side, and the Nimitz Vikings operating from right to left. Come in at 3 and 5. This one thrown away at the side and off of Irving's number 11, Xavier Radford at side court. It'll be Davion Hopkins, the senior, to play it back in. Destin Ecke, the go-to guy for the Nimitz Vikings, number 13 of the paint, averaging 14 a game. Also at 6'6", Saul Allen, number 11. Allen open in the corner. Ecke fires it right side, caught by Johnson. Side court to Davion Hopkins. Hopkins working on Trey Nelson. Nothing opening there. The first 25 seconds of the game. 3-pointer left side poured in by Davion Johnson. Johnson, a 5'9" junior, and the Nimitz Vikings open up a 3-0 lead. Trey Nelson and Anthony Union, both in double figures through the first 16 games this year for the Tigers. Union, right side, 3-pointer, that's short, launched by Xavier Radford. And the second possession for the Nimitz Vikings. Justin Sherman fires it right side, caught by Saul Allen. Allen on Anthony Union. Inside, bobble, jarred loose for the ball. Outlet come the Irving Tigers. Will slow it up on the side. Xavier Radford. Radford inside, around 1, around 2, over Ecke and scores.
Well, a pretty move by the 5'10" junior, who had to go against the trees to bring that one down, and they hit the boards first. Watch it again. He goes right down the paint. He sees a crease, and really kind of an awkward looking shot with he went the right hand and not the left, but hey, the results are the same.
Radford a 50% free throw shooter, and we start over at 3. Xavier comes in averaging 6 points a game. And the third possession for the Vikes. Backcourt, Justin Sherman. Sherman guarded by Radford. Sherman has Hopkins on one side. Hopkins in front of the bench. Looking, directing the offense, slows it up just a tad. Bounce pass caught, inbounds barely by Devin Johnson, who up high and Ecke there to collect it.
Johnson did a good job of saving that. Had to tightrope the sideline.
Ecke fronted by Belton. Sherman thought about it, now pulls it back down on the floor. Sherman lobs it in, back to Sherman, who has to relocate it. We're tied at 3, 2 minutes and 9 seconds into the game. Lob feed to Ecke. Ecke off the double team, no shot. Out deep to Hopkins. Hopkins hands it off inside, and that one goes off the iron. Saul Allen.
One thing we can say about the Vikings so far in the early go is they're very patient with the basketball when they're trying to set up a play offensively.
Trey Nelson gets the underhand dish off from Xavier Radford. Trey averaging 16 points a game, had 28 points a couple of weeks ago in a tournament game. Quick handoff to Avery Carlos. Up high to Radford. Radford working on Sherman. Radford stops, a jump step, gets a shot off and misses. And getting to it, nice save over the line by Devin Johnson. Up and down, and the block by Avery on Hopkins.
Well, the size matchup, did not favor Hopkins. And by the time Hopkins was able to plant his foot, here comes the defender to slap it away.
Yeah, you're right. 5'7", working on 6'2", backing out is Sherman. 5-3, Vikings on top. Into Eki. Backing in, turns, shoots the 9-footer and rolls around. It did a 360 tour and stayed out. Anthony Union got the rebound underneath. That shot from behind the glass. Trey Nelson fills it up.
That was a pretty play on the baseline. Nice soft touch.
Nelson underneath had no angle at all. We're tied at 5. The drive open in the paint. And pushing it up and in is Justin Sherman, the senior.
A little defensive meltdown there by Irving. They let Justin just drive the lane uncontested.
Both teams 0-1 in district play. A three-point bomb launched and missed by Nelson. Rebound in the corner off of whom? Off of Nimitz. Halfway through the opening period, first substitution for head coach Stephen Perry. Maybe as Lewis, 5'11 sophomore, number 3 in.
Well, John, it's not like the tempo has been very fast. Pretty much methodical, it seems like, offensively here in the early go.
Kind of a waiting game on both ends. Xavier Radford shoves it between the circles to Lewis. In turn, gives to Union. Anthony Union backing away. The fadeaway short may have been partially blocked. Eki trying to save it. It's still loose and off in the corner. Lewis was there off of Xavier Lewis. And Nimitz possession.
It's one of those schoolyard plays where you're about to go out of bounds and you throw it to knock it off the legs or hands of your opponent.
Here's Eki, gets an extra step over half court. Tip, he tried to get it to Sherman, picked up. Here's Sherman, who in turn gives it to Allen, who couldn't find the handle.
Oh, Allen's eyes were as big as saucers driving baseline. He was ready to go up strong, throw that one down fast and hard, but right there, he just lost a handle on it a little bit and turnover.
Xavier Radford walks it up court for the Irving Tigers, down by 2, 3:19 to go in the opening period. Handoff to Nelson. Back up top to Radford. Trey trying to get closer. The jump pass outside. Now in the corner, the three-pointer is missed by Union. Eki up high to get the rebound over Darrell Belton. Under 3 minutes left here in the first quarter. As Sherman drives, hands it off, and this time Allen off the glass.
Hey, give Sherman some credit there with the assist. Well done on his part. He averages about 5 a game, and that was a nice one there in the paint.
9-5, a 4-point Nimitz cushion. Trey to Union. Anthony averaging 11 a game. He had a 27-point game earlier, we can now say last year. 2 weeks ago, but calendar-wise it was last year. Union working on Johnson. Anthony will try the three and land it. A net cutter from long range. Anthony Union with a three-pointer. It's a 1-point game.
Pretty shot.
Third different Irving Tiger to score. In trouble as Hopkins goes side court to Sherman. Under 2 minutes. Sherman around one. Left-hander goes and hits the deck hard, but score the basket. Earned that one the hard way. Justin Sherman.
Sherman, look at this move, going up with the trees, and nice soft touch with the left hand and right below us.
At the line and a chance to give the Vikings a 4-point lead. And the lefty pumps it in there. Second time the Vikings have led by 4. Xavier Radford side court. Nelson's in the middle. Throws a high pass, caught, three-pointer on the way, in and out. It was taken by number 4 who just came in, Johnny Kuhn. Minute 30 to go. Top of the key for a 3 and count it as Justin Sherman rings the bell. And the coaching staff at Irving really kind of bewildered now as they gather up with a minute 25 to go in the first.
Well, all of a sudden the pace picks up, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Nice three-pointer from the outside, and you know it's fun to look at your opposition and the fans in the stands and do a little mocking when that happens. But you know, it's only the first quarter. Plenty of time left in this one. Shoot, we've seen lead changes change a lot faster than this. The thing is, though, it seems like it's taken most of the first quarter for the pace to pick up a little bit.
So you want to see the frowns turn into grins.
I just want to see them upside down, upright, down, whatever. Just emotions in general.
A 7-point Nimitz lead with a minute 20 to go in the first. Near court left side, Nelson. Sherman comes tight on Trey. Bumped him, no foul. Wraparound pass to Radford over the bench. That pass intended for Johnny Kuhn in the corner and up and over the bench.
Goes Hopkins. Boy,
yeah,
he just
high wire at.
I saw him save it, and the next thing I know, he's behind the bench.
Winding down to a minute. Sherman over the timeline. Round 1. Hopkins from 20, short. Rebound collected on the run. Here's Radford. Shovel pass to Union. Anthony's 5th point. And a 5-point lead. Davian Hopkins starts behind the back. Now slows it up. Handoff on the right side to Johnson. Entry pass to Eki. Eki forced out beyond the paint. Now takes it closer. Gets a shot off and is fouled. Travian Atkins committing the foul.
Strong move by the senior.
Justin Eki averaging 14 points in the 6'6" senior at the line.
Yeah, they go inside, and he really had to work hard to get over Atkins.
Basket good and the lead at 8. Nelson and the Tigers committed to take this last shot. Other corner, Xavier Radford. Nelson in front of us, walks it down the side court. 6 seconds. Little penetration with 4. He will shoot and score off of the glass. Nelson off the square. And a 6-point game at the end of the first quarter. At the end of the first 8 minutes, it's Nimitz 18, the Irving Tigers 12 on our ICTN season opening game of the week. With Rob Willman, our ICTN production crew, John Nelson on hand for the lid lifter of 2018 at Irving High, the Nimitz Vikings. The visitors leading by 6. Tiger possession to begin the second quarter. The inbounds pass comes to Trey Nelson, almost jarred loose of the ball by Sherman. Nelson puts it on the floor, hands it off in the corner. 3-pointer stuck. Johnny Kuhn.
You know, when he came off the bench back in the first quarter, he was on the court less than 30 seconds, and he was putting up a 3, so that's his forte, the long ball.
A 3-point game. Team 3-pointer number 2 for the Tigers. That one fumbled. It slipped out of the hands. Outlet pass to Nelson. Nelson with a soft layup. So the miscue cost the Vikings a couple of points. Allen couldn't save it, and the drive underneath by Justin Sherman. That'll be team foul number 3.
He wanted a 2-shot foul.
Yeah, thought he might get it. Non-shooting foul, they say, and Davian Hopkins to play it in. 3 fouls for the Tigers, 1 committed so far by the Vikings. A 1-point contest. Nimitz led by as many as 7 in that first quarter. Looping pass is called over the shoulder by Sherman. Sherman takes it inside and misses high off of the glass. Anthony Union on the march. He'll turn, he'll take the 23-footer, misses it wide right. It was short.
I'm looking right at Coach Perry. As soon as he took that shot, hands in the face.
That one thrown away. They try to get it to Ecke, but the pass too tall, launched by Justin Sherman.
Well, he's talking to Union right now like, calm down. Just because there's no one open, just wait a second. You don't have to jack one up from 30 feet.
13 years now for Coach Perry at Irving High, UMKC grad. In the corner, that attempt by Nelson off the top of the rim, out of bounds. Nobody touched it. It's Nimitz's possession. Coach Donaldson in year number 6. And the former Bearcat with a K at Sam Houston State. You know about the Southern Conference terminology.
Down in Huntsville, it's a nice little gym down there.
Johnson Coliseum, entry pass to Ecke. Ecke lost it, taken away by Union. Ahead to Radford. 5 points for Xavier Radford, and the lead change. The Tigers on top by 1.
Just like that.
A nice 10-6 run now for Irving High. Tightening up his Union, and the rolling pass collected by Sherman.
It's been, what, over 2 minutes since Nimitz has scored a bucket or a point.
Evan Johnson in the corner. Here's Ecke. Gets rid of it quickly to Hopkins. Shoves a pass to Sherman, and Sherman will take the 3 over Nelson. He will miss. Up high, rebound Union. Union was there together with Travian Atkins. Union off balance and a blocking foul underneath. I believe it's going to be on Johnson, number 22.
That was a case of 2 Vikings trying to both make the charge.
Oh, they hit each other as well.
Yeah, that had to be against Sherman, don't you think? I mean, one teammate looked like he was pretty solid, but I think Sherman, in his haste, didn't know his teammate was there waiting.
At the line, number 1, junior Anthony Union, averaging 11 points as a foul shooter, hitting 50%. John Wilson, the sophomore, in for the first time, the guard, as Union will line up the second. Missed them both. Caught waist high by Nyron Collins. Collins has also come on, number 3. Collins lost it. Nelson, and Radford couldn't find the handle, now relocates it. Starts to drive underneath. The jump pass off of the hand of Union. Trey Nelson in a crowd, able to get a shot off. Team foul number 3 now committed by Nimitz. That was going to be on Devin Johnson. Is that right, or number 2, Hopkins? Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson.
It'll be Trey Nelson at the stripe for the first time. Trey averaging 16 a game. Good free throw shooter, hitting close to 79%.
Yeah, he's the leading scorer between Nelson and Union. Those are the 2 guys that carry the load offensively.
Up high, and the reverse put back by Radford underneath.
Oh, that was a nice play.
22-18, Ecke, and is bumped en route to the hole. Mac Evans, or who was that?
Both teams kind of lulling us to sleep in the first quarter, where they were just kind of just being slow and trying to work things out. Now the last half of the second quarter has just been nonstop up and down the court.
Johnny Kuhn committing the foul. That is the 4th Irving team foul. Ecke able to connect on the second. Tigers lead by a tray. Radford to the junior guard in the corner. Nelson with a long three, misses. Caught at the free throw line by Myron Collins as the Vikings slow it up. Hopkins off balance, misses. Tipped, it's still loose, and last touch by Nimitz.
Yeah, Collins is the last one to touch it.
Number 33 comes out, Travion Atkins. And then for the first time, DJ Stevenson, the senior, number 23, he'll inbound. Defensive specialist for the Tigers in the football season. Trey Nelson to Stevenson, up high to Hopkins. Around they go. Nelson left to the lane, off the glass, short. The save by Brooks, and Brooks is fouled.
Boy, it didn't take Micah very long to get into the action, did it? Just coming off the bench for the first time tonight and works his way to the free throw line.
Micah Brooks, 6'3" senior, at the line for a pair and able to bounce the first one through, and a lead now of 4.
You know, it's good when you get somebody to come off the bench like that and average about 65% from the free throw line.
And cans them both. And a 5-point lead. Under 4 minutes to go here in half number 1. It's cold outside, but a nice warm atmosphere inside. Nice pass, open, turn, shooting and scoring is Devin Johnson. Johnson able to find the mark underneath.
Great ball movement by the Vikings just then.
Well, they're content to hit something from the right side. They haven't so far tonight as Stevenson misses from about 17.
When we saw on the roster that DJ was playing, we were joking with each other, is it the quarterback or the linebacker? Well, I think the answer is pretty obvious, the linebacker version.
The tackler.
Mm-hmm.
With the lead and the ball, the Tigers. Trey Nelson, double team, look out, Bobble lost it. Trying to get it ahead to Wilson. The interception and tipped as Radford trying to go underneath.
Hey, quick hands by both parties here. As Radford steals, and then he tries to find an open man underneath, and the Vikings able to knock it out of bounds.
Well, it still is the giving season, right?
Yes.
Nelson underneath in the corner, and it is a 3. Anthony Union's second 3.
Boy, that was a tough shot.
Lead at 6. 27-21.
Boy, Brooks and Ecke going at it pretty good. Top of the key.
Wilson dribbling, still dribbling, forced deep. 5-second call or a timeout? Timeout.
Yeah. Coach Donaldson didn't like where that was headed and has to infuse some offense back into his group. Started wild there, but so far the Tigers have come on strong. The district standings, we talked about coming in a little bit, Tal. Irving and Nimitz both 0-1. You see Cedar Hill at 0-1. Duncanville, DeSoto, South MacArthur, and the Gophers. Well, that can't be right because you can't have 5 1-0s and 3 0-1s, but I think the Gophers are 0-1. Duncanville always strong in boys basketball.
Micah Brooks stays on the floor, number 15 for the Tigers. And to play it in at the side, it'll be Justin Sherman. Trailing by 6. John Wilson. A skip pass to Ecke. Ecke fires it above the floor to Collins. Myron Collins working on Radford. Over to Ecke. Sherman into Ecke. Back to Sherman. Sherman, quick handoff underneath, and no contest there as Wilson shuffled the feet underneath. Nice defensive recovery by the Tigers.
You know, the Tigers have done a good job defensively shutting down Ecke. I mean, he's got 4 points, 2 of those from the free throw line, but Brooks that time and Ecke really battling underneath and not giving Ecke some space to work.
Team fouls even at 4. Anthony Union. Union underneath and misses, goes to the floor hard, was challenged by Devin Johnson underneath. Team foul number 5. And Anthony Union will go to the line. He is 0 of 2. 8 total points so far. And the lead at 7. Back in for the Vikings is Hopkins, number 2.
Gotta tell you, that last series exchange defensively on one end, the Tigers able to control the Vikings big man, and then back on the other. Nice hustle by Union.
Yeah, they did a nice job of getting back. Union now in double digits in the lead at 8. Biggest lead of the game so far for the Tigers. Oh, there's some congestion, some major congestion. Has Sherman right there with DJ Stevenson.
That was one of those calls I believe could have gone either way. And you have the officials looking at each other like, what happened? There's DJ coming in at the last minute there. And the official that called the foul, he was pretty sure of himself. He was giving him the bucket.
So the lead now at 6. Justin Sherman at the line. Lead stays at 6. Minute 40 to go. Union, they're trying to force Union as deep as possible. Now at the top of the key, lost the handle, picked up, and another exchange. DJ Stevenson takes it away from Davian Hopkins. In the corner, intercepted by Deshaun Wilson. And at 15 to go in the first half.
Man, what a flurry of turnovers.
Back and forth, bounce pass, no 3. Looking for a teammate, trying to get it to Ecke, and push from behind by Micah Brooks. That'll be the 6th team foul committed.
Brooks very aggressive as a defender. He and Ecke have been pushing and shoving for about the last 3 minutes.
Davian Hopkins to inbound underneath the goal to Ecke. And Destin shoves it up and misses. Hopkins gets the carom. On the run behind the back. Lost it. Out of bounds, but deflected out of bounds by Nimitz with under a minute to go.
Coach Donaldson, who already had to use a couple of timeouts to stop the bleeding early on and give his team credit, staying within 6. And I think Coach Perry will be happy with this going for the last shot.
Been outscored 17-5 here in the second quarter. 36 seconds left. Long pass in the corner, now back out to Radford.
Hey, that tells me just right there they want to wait till the last shot.
Radford and Nelson. There's Nelson, gets the bounce pass with 22 seconds.
Now they get the all-go move.
With 15 seconds, Radford. He'll be guarded by Sherman. Radford puts it on the floor, gets penetration, hands it off to Stevenson. DJ up and partially blocked with 5 seconds. With 1 and didn't get it off. They got it into the hands of Nyron Collins, but time has run out, and the Irving Tigers will take a 6-point lead into the locker room. Intermission here at Irving High. Our halftime score, the Tigers 29 and the Vikings 23.
So the Irving Tigers open up to a nice 29-23 lead at the break. They outscored their opponent 17-5 in the second quarter. We start, though, with the Nimitz Vikings in their highlights offensively. We start with Johnson, number 22. Nice little feed, and Johnson's in the corner for the three-pointer. And then Sherman, who had a good game in the first quarter, nice little feed there to Allen. A little fast break. They had a pretty good start in the first quarter, and nice nifty passing again to Johnson. And they were up 18-12 after the first quarter, but then the Tigers started to catch fire. Anthony Union, the team's leading scorer there, coming in. And Johnny Quinn, he came off the bench. He's got three-pointer in the corner. And then it's Union again with the jump shot. And that's where we stand at the break. Looking at some of the scoring. 4 players doing all the damage for the Vikings. Sherman, Johnson, Allen. And they've kept Ecke in check with only 4 points. Meanwhile, 5 in the books for the Tigers, with Union leading the charge with 10. Nelson and Radford 7 apiece. Kuhn with 3, and Micah Brooks with 2. Now, Micah did a really good job on Ecke when he came in midway through the second quarter. And the big man for the Vikings still looking to get on track. So we're waiting for both teams to come out on the court, and the question is, Mr. Nelson, to start this third quarter, is if the Vikings can get Ecke a little more involved inside, and whether or not they want to keep the pace as how it kind of transpired midway through the second quarter. All of a sudden, Irving was pushing the ball up pretty quick, and the transition game kind of changed, and so did the lead for the Irving Tigers as Coach Perry looks on, and then on the other side, Coach Donaldson. Donaldson's 7th year, Perry 14th year. A couple of mainstays here in ISD as we get ready for the third quarter.
Tigers won both of these games last year. 2 years ago, it was all Nimitz. As we begin the second half, to our left and going left to right, it'll be the Nimitz Vikings. Davian Hopkins with a tall rainbow pass to Justin Sherman. 29-23. Vikings led by as many as 8 in the first half. Same starting 5 for the Vikings. Into Ecke, turning, and a whirly arm movement that put Atkins on the floor. Offensive foul.
Love to see it again. I don't know if he really made contact, or was it more? It was a good acting job.
Atkins hit the floor. There he is. Looked like he'd been hit by a sledgehammer, but
well played.
First possession for the Tigers. In the second half, John Wilson in the corner to Kuhn. Hand off to Nelson, bounce pass, and Johnny kicks it out of bounds. Both teams 0 for 0 to begin the second half.
Kuhn probably like to have that pass back. Boy, that was a nice play to thread the needle.
Ecke, foul line extended left. He'll put it on the floor. He'll move it inside. The same movement, same result.
This time it counted.
Wow, got the basket. 6 points for Ecke. It's exactly the same thing. And Destin at the line, the basket and one.
Makeup call, John?
Well, I got to think it might have been.
Well, that's 2 possessions in a row that we've seen Nimitz go to the big guy. I think they've got to get him more involved in the second half to make a game of it for them.
I don't think they'll go to Allen. Saved on the wing behind the back pass by Radford, back into play, and the Tigers get it right back. Inside is Radford, and he'll get hit with a foul.
Boy, Ecke, he's been involved in 3 straight plays, whether offensively or defensively. if you're a big guy and you're the main guy, you're looking at him there, you know, it takes some nerves there to try to draw the charge, because you get in trouble, your team's in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. He'll be working on Brooks.
That was a good matchup for Perry in the first half.
Sherman with it. Here's Ecke, top of the key. Destin from the free throw line over Brooks and misses the tip. And the recovery in the basket, Devin Johnson. And the junior with his 7th point, 29-28. Trey Nelson goes left-handed off of the glass and misses. And the trip, as you had the contact, Radford on Hopkins.
Going back to the play before where Ecke shot it from about the free throw line or so, I wouldn't be angry at that. I think that's not a bad shot for Ecke.
Here he is and has his pocket picked by Trey Nelson. He takes it away and scores on the other end. The steal and the deuce by the senior, who has 9 points.
Good hustle by Trey.
The lead at 3. Handoff. And a nice handoff. And finished off by Saul Allen. Allen got it from Justin Sherman. 31-30 three-pointer. Nelson misses. A race for the ball in the corner. And it comes to Avery. And the miss, and no contest rebound, Destin Ecke. Johnson misses. Here's Radford. It is 3-on-2. Radford turns, finds an opening somehow, gets a shot off, and will go to the line. Second team foul committed by the Vikings.
Well, the pace is picking up where it left off in the second quarter. Watch him force the issue there. Kept the pivot foot where it needed to be and draws the foul.
Xavier Radford at the line. The Tigers foul shooting 7 of 10.
I think Perry will take that.
Radford on the year hitting right at 50% of his free throws and bumps the iron on the second. So the lead at 2. Under 5 minutes to go here in the third. Both teams 0-1 in the district. Handoff up and the two-handed jam by Ecke. It's a high percentage blast underneath.
Yeah, those are fun to watch unless you're the defender.
32 all. Nelson rolls a pass to Hopkins. Relocates it. Or Union rather. Anthony Union drifts over to the left side. Return feed to Radford. 4:20 left. Radford lost it, stumbled, picked up by Ecke. Looking for somebody to fire it to, and connects with Hopkins. Hopkins bounce pass to Johnson. Johnson count it. And a basket and one for the Vikings, who now lead by 2.
Well, John, in the first almost 4 minutes of the second half, the Vikings have been very aggressive, picking up the pace, transition game really clicking.
Johnson misses, short.
One other thing is Union. He's not been involved.
Not much. Here's Nelson. Trey underneath. He goes into double digits now with 11. Timeout Nimitz. 3:58 left here in quarter number 3. We're all tied at 34.
Well, Nelson, he's the leader of this team. He averages almost 17 points a ball game, so he's your offensive leader. And he just took charge there on the baseline to slow things down and tie this thing up. But Union, a couple of times in transition, I was watching, and he was just kind of laying low, staying back on the fast break on the other end. And he scored 10 points in the first half, a couple of threes. Pretty active early, but here in the second half, I know it's only 4 minutes gone by in the third quarter, but we haven't seen him touch the ball very often offensively. He's been back defensively.
Nelson and Union have 21 of the team's 34 points. That's an indication how cold it will be as they leave tonight into the chilly night air. You get any Christmas winter wear?
No, I did not. I have so much left over from like years past where we haven't had to drag it out. It's kind of finally nice to wear the coat and the sweatshirts.
Coach Stephen Perry, all tied at 34 as he watches on. Foul-wise, the Tigers have committed 4 in this quarter. The Vikings with 2, losing possession is Sherman ahead to Radford, and Radford lays it up and in, and the Tigers now lead by 2. Radford now in double figures with 10. A little out of control, but getting the shot off anyway as Hopkins had to reach around, reconnect with it, and get the shot off, his first 2 of the game.
Well, I thought he was out of control when he started down the lane.
Becomes the 5th different Viking to score. Union, the right hash mark. Fires it up high to Avery. Radford, here's Nelson. Trying to clear, nobody open underneath, but outside is Union, who misses a 3. Johnson stumbles, gets it across the timeline. Cross court to Hopkins. Underneath and leaving his feet is Saul Allen. The contact with under 3 minutes to go here in the third.
Seen a pattern here where the Vikings have really forced the issue inside. Fast breaks. There's a little moment there where Eki was involved in a couple of plays underneath, and now Allen.
5th team foul committed by the Tigers. Saul Allen, his first free throw of the game, is a good one. And the lead at 1. Xavier Radford will come out. And 6'6" junior lines up the second and connects. And a 2-point game with 2:53 left. Carlos Avery fires it to Union, who in turn gets it over to Xavier Lewis in for the first time. Nice handoff underneath, and Brooks is walloped. Team foul number 3 committed to the Vikes. And Micah Brooks at the line where he is 2 of 2. 5 seniors, 4 juniors, and 5 sophomores comprise this year's varsity roster at Irving. He'll get 1 more. Tigers were 6 of 9 in foul shooting in the first half. And sends up the second. Sherman quick to Eki, and some contact. There'll be a foul on Nimitz.
Yep,
There's a 4th.
Brooks held his ground. A pretty good spark since coming off the bench.
Trey Nelson right in the middle. He'll be guarded by Saul Allen. Both about the same size. Allen may have a little bit of an advantage, but not that much. Winding down close to 2 minutes, and Trey says, well, I'll just fire the 3. He'll miss. Grabbed underneath by Justin Sherman.
Recall Sherman started the game pretty hot. He's been quiet as well here in the late stages of the third quarter.
Under 2 minutes. Here's Sherman. And he'll take it in closer and miss. Union trying to save it, and he does, or did he go out of bounds? He went over the line.
Well, they said he hit the out of bounds line.
It'll be Davian Hopkins at 5'7" to play it in. Looking, he tosses it up high to Eki. In the corner for a 3. Missed by Johnson. Eki gets a rebound, double pump underneath. Goes up and down and draws a foul of Xavier Lewis.
I think the Vikings are fortunate on that series. I think it's Ecke's tall frame that pretty much draws the foul here. Watch him go up strong with the rebound. See, he kind of lowered his arms, shoulders a little bit, kind of helped draw the foul. Good free throw shooter for a big man. Hitting all but one so far tonight.
Connects on the second. And an even 40 points.
Yeah, 5 out of 6 from the free throw line.
11 total points. Across the way, Trey Nelson with a minute 26. Still a one-possession contest as Trey goes to the left side. Anthony Union right on top of the three-point line and misses everything. Johnny Quinn back in at 5'10" and a junior. He has a three-pointer. To Union underneath, got the pass quickly from Nelson, and Anthony Union converts.
Oh, he caught him sleeping defensively.
Allen, and travels before he got the handoff to Ecke.
You know what happened there? He saw Ecke all by himself and couldn't wait to throw it to him and didn't set his feet quickly enough.
40-39, under a minute to go. Baseline left, and turning and missing is Avery.
Surprised me they took a shot that fast.
Quick.
In the second quarter, and they used up over half a minute before finally trying to take that last shot.
Hopkins to Saul Allen. Allen to Ecke. Back to Saul, half a minute to go. Allen puts it on the floor, in trouble, gets a pass to Johnson, and this one away from the ball, or a timeout?
No, timeout Donaldson. I don't know if you noticed, though, every time Ecke gets the ball, there's two defenders around him. And they're trying to double team him front side, back side, wherever they can to make it tough on him to score. If that happens, you know that opens up a guy on the wing to take the jump shot.
Is Sherman.
Yeah. And he's been, like I said, really quiet. He was 10 points in the first half, hadn't scored at all. Look, there he is. There's Kuhn to your right, number 4, and now there's 3 guys surrounding him. And they kick it back out to Allen, and that's about the time Donaldson said, you know, this isn't working. So maybe it's time for someone like Sherman or maybe Johnson to pick up the slack offensively. If you're going to have 2 and sometimes 3 defenders over your big man, that's leaving some people open.
So Davian Hopkins to play it in underneath. Justin Sherman with 18 seconds. Looking, Sherman goes baseline to Ecke, intended for Hopkins, intercepted by Anthony Union, and Union will take it in. With 1 second. Didn't get it off. It is 41-40 as we go to the fourth. The Irving Tigers on top on our ICTN Game of the Week. Nimitz outscoring the Tigers 17-12 in that third quarter. The Irving Tigers will take possession of it first here to begin the fourth. A tight 41-40 contest here in district game number 2 for both teams. Somebody will come away with their first district win tonight. Trey Nelson will shoot it cross court to Avery. Back to Trey. Nelson with 11 points. Here's Anthony Union. It is a 3. They give him a 3 in this 17th point.
Well, I was just asking about Mr. Union, and now he's reeled off those points here late in the third quarter and the beginning here of the fourth.
Ecke going to force one up. Gets the rebound. Little soft touch on the second and is fouled. And that is the 7th on the Tigers. It'll put Destin Ecke at the stripe.
He has such potential of really dominating a game inside with his size and his stretch. And he has such a good soft touch for a big man.
Yeah, nothing but nets on the first.
Does he bounce the ball? No. Grabs, shoots, scores.
Cans the second, and the lead now at 2. Irving came in averaging 51 points a game. They allow right at 60. 4 and 12 overall. Hopkins, or rather Nelson, and he is hit with a foul. Will not result in a 1-and-1 at the other end.
Second time that Ecke has drawn the charge underneath. Right there.
Being helped up.
Coach Perry. He cracks me up.
Fabian Hopkins underneath as soon as they toweled up the wet spot. Ecke back on offense now. So trailing by a deuce. Minute 11 seconds into the fourth quarter. Justin Sherman with 10 points around Nelson. Sherman hands it off, and here's Ecke with his second jam. Heating up.
See, Brooks left him alone to try to draw the charge, and when he did, Ecke had clear sailing to the rim.
Averaging 14, has just scored his 15th point. We start over at 44. Anthony Union. Left side, back to Union. Cross-court flip to Nelson. And a timeout taken by Coach Perry as soon as Johnny caught the pass in the corner.
Well, this series is always fun to look at, and Irving swept the series last year. Boy, it was a close one in that second time around where Irving won 54-49, and then that broke a 3-game winning streak by the Vikings. And Vikings have done fairly well in this series dating back to 2011-2012, where they kind of put 3 games in a row. 3 wins, and Irving will break it. Nimitz a couple, Irving will break it. Nimitz 3. And then last year was the first time that Irving could put a couple of games and sweep the series in about the last 5 years.
Nimitz has won 8 of the last 13. And we're tied at 44 as the strategy drawn up by Coach Perry. And they're giving away T-shirts. Cheerleaders working the crowd.
Oh, man, the crowd comes to life, don't they?
Over the holiday break.
Yeah.
Would you have attended a game over the holidays in high school?
Yeah. My buddies played, so I'd go watch.
Hand off to Radford. Radford, it's kicked loose. Picked up off of the floor by Johnson. Outlet pass, and the second travel call in this half on Saul Allen.
That one was just a lack of concentration. The ball just got away from him. You see a guy streaking there that you're trying to get an assist to, and
here's Nelson, the handoff, and the shot taken by Micah Brooks, and Brooks is fouled. That's the 5th team foul committed by the Vikings. And it'll put Micah Brooks, the senior, at the line, 1 of 5.
Allen was pleading his case with the official. Official wasn't buying it. These guys have done a few games together. We saw them last year.
I know 2 of the 3 look familiar. Here's a follow-up. Oh, missed them both. Chance to take the lead and misses both of them. And Davian Hopkins with it. They'll send it to Ecke. Destin looking right in the middle to Hopkins. Over to Collins. Nyron Collins has it picked loose. Trey Nelson with a steal, and then Collins impedes his progress.
Yeah,
Count the basket.
Classic Nelson right there with the pick of the pocket. He's got a guy tugging on his jersey like a defensive back, and he makes him pay.
It was a half Nelson, and he won the battle. And there's Trey at the line, the 5'11 senior, averaging 16 points. And the lead stays at 2 as he misses. And what do we have, lane interference or a whistle?
Yeah, lane violation against the Vikings.
Trey will have one more chance.
Irving's like, we're just going to back up.
Well, the big guys underneath, Allen and Ecke, and Trey makes him pay for it the second time.
If it ends up being a 1-point game, remember that play.
Well, you could be right. Allen gets a quick pass to Sherman, who in turn gives to Ecke. In the corner, back up top for a Davian Hopkins 3, up loose, who has it, it's tipped, it's still loose. Ecke comes away with it and misses from underneath, and then a whistle with 4:56 to play.
I believe that was Union.
It is, it'll put the Vikes at the line. Devin Johnson.
Aggressive play by the Vikings that series. Offensively going for the rebound, and it pays off in the form of a foul.
You know, it's hard to get a shot off sometime with 2 pairs of arms in front of you, and you're getting bumped around the miss. They get it back and then trying to work it down underneath and off of Ecke.
Well, it's not like the Vikings had their chances.
Right. They have.
And the Tigers survived that little onslaught to get possession back in the lead still.
It was 29-23 at the half in favor of the Tigers. Radford, quick pass in the middle of Union. Union spins, lost it, now gets it back in the corner. Collected by Radford. He will stop, may have gotten away with a walk, puts up a shot from 8 and misses. And then the contact as Nelson turns and a side swipe by Justin Sherman. Was rear-ended in the back.
Well, already you've got Nimitz in the bonus.
Double bonus time. And at the stripe is the senior Justin Sherman. One more chance. It's still a 3-point game.
Here we are halfway through the 4th quarter, and Sherman hasn't scored since the first half.
Able to break a spell there. It's 47-45. Grabbed by Avery and then loose under the bench and off of Davian Hopkins as the Tigers get it back. Nelson with 14 points. Misses off the back, trying to save it. Picked up inside, and the block on the attempt by Brooks. Ahead to Hopkins. In the corner, Sherman. And left to the lane, misses. Ahead to Nelson. Trey around 1. The left-hander goes, and the wraparound shot off with a square, and is fouled in the process by Johnson.
He had a 3-on-1 break, and he does a step around. 1, 2, and then this time uses the left hand to make it count. Remember that awkward shot he had earlier in the first quarter where he used the right hand in that same situation. This time goes to the left side and worked out well for him.
And Trey Nelson misses, but the lead at 4. It's a 2-possession game. We've got 3:40 remaining.
These shooting guards have got to produce for Nimitz. They're trying to take Eki away from it.
Tigers already in the double bonus. Almost losing the handle was Hopkins. Here's a 3 attempt in the corner, missed. Recovery and put in by Deshaun Wilson, his first 2. Quickly on the other end, Anthony Union, air ball 3. They'll let it go with 3:09 to play. It's a 2-point game. It'll be Nimitz's ball.
Boy, that was nice hustle by Wilson, the sophomore, with the rebound. Then used his body to shield the defender as he went back up strong.
Only a sophomore. Came in averaging 5. 49-47. Tigers on top under 3 minutes. Davian Hopkins on Nelson. Looking. Goes cross court to Johnson. Here's Eki. Will he shoot? Nope. Back outside to Johnson for a 3. It is short, above the rim. Who has it? Saved over the line, but Eki gets it. And Eki with a drive and a cram. Trey Nelson on the other end misses a 3. 49 all, 2:27 left.
Now people are coming to life.
Here we go, Davian Hopkins. Anybody's game here. Right side. Looking, gets it rid of it to Johnson. Lob feed underneath, Eki. Here's Allen. Saul Allen misses from just beyond the free throw line. Had the open shot under 2 minutes. $20 points in the second half for the Tigers and 26 for the Vikings. Allen guarding Trey Nelson. Nelson with 16 points. Minute 40. Nelson bump, takes it inside anyway, shoots and scores.
Boy,
left hand off the glass.
He used his body as well to shield himself against Eki, and with the left hand gave him enough space, and that was a pretty shot.
51-49. Eki drives, does a 360 and off the glass and count it. A tremendous move by the 6'6 senior. And a basket and one and a chance to take the lead.
Oh, so strong, so strong. He goes against Brooks. It's like, just give me the ball.
And short, misses it wide left.
First one he missed all game.
Minute 10 to go. Trey Nelson stops. Minute left. And a timeout taken by head coach Stephen Perry with 59.3. It's Irving's possession. The Vikings have committed 17 fouls. Union with 17 points. Trey Nelson with 18. Xavier Radford with 10, the 3 leading scorers for the Tigers. Trying to crack that win column for the first time in district.
Well, Nelson had 28 in their win over Turner. Meanwhile, Eki had 20 when they lost to the Gophers in the 7-6A opener. So both key players, both the leaders in their respective teams, standing tall again tonight. And you pretty much know who you want to have the basketball on each side when it comes down to crunch time, John.
In a couple of weeks, we'll see the Vikings and the Cardinals at Irving MacArthur. There's the information on that contest. District 7-6A. Our season opening game for the new calendar year. Irving's ball at side court. Who wants it? It'll be Xavier Radford to play it in.
Here's the thing, John. Do you use up all the time?
Right. That's probably what they talked about. Nobody was on the ball. Now they hand off quickly to Avery, to Union, who in turn hands it off to Trey Nelson.
It's advantage Irving because it's tied and they've got the ball. So it's not like you have to make it. If you take it all the way down, you're not going to lose.
51 all. Everybody standing here on the Tiger home side. Half a minute to go. Might they take another timeout if they don't shoot? 24 seconds. Nelson trying to get around, and the contact and the hold. It was a quick hold, and the call against Saul Allen. He sidestepped Allen, but he grabbed him long enough to warrant the whistle.
Boy, that was a fast foul, wasn't it?
It was.
The question is that what Donaldson wanted? Did he want the foul, send him to the line, and let destiny be in their hands, if you will? And you're forcing Nelson. He's got to score, you know. He's got to score at least one to give his team the lead.
19.2 left. It's a 1-and-1, and the bonus to follow. Substitution, Nimitz. Double deuce back in. Devin Johnson.
Didn't
One more
surprise me
opportunity.
to see Donaldson call a time.
If he makes it. He does, and as you surmised, Rob, there is the timeout taken with 19.7 left in a 2-point game. All kinds of opportunities and options for the Vikings. Do you go inside and hope for the basket and one? Do you take the three for the win? Do you drain the clock down and work it to Eki?
Vikings with 2 timeouts. Irving with just 1. If you're Perry, you know what you're going to do. You're going to say, hey, they're going to go to Eki. Because
you're going to get the look-see first.
Because he's the guy. So, you know he's going to say, all right, we need to surround this big man. You can see him there diagramming the play. Defensive play. He can only guess what his counterpart is going to do, but he's seen a trend. I mean, come on, the guy's been coaching for years. He knows pretty much what they're going to do, or what he believes they're going to do offensively. And all night he's doubled up Eki. He's tried to force the big man to pass off, and in that situation, if you're Donaldson, you got to tell your big guy, well, if you're double teamed, either A, look for the open man, or try to draw the foul yourself. You're a good free throw shooter.
Nice early district game on ICTN. Both teams 0-1. Davian Hopkins will have to go the length of the court, down by a deuce.
And all the way at the other end, it's Brooks against Eki.
Here's Sherman, 14 seconds. 53-51 Tigers. Sherman drives, gets it to Eki. Eki with a jump step and scores and count the basket. And a chance for the Vikings to lead at the line.
Who are you going to go to? You're going to go to Eki. Puts it on the court just once. Look, 4 guys around him. 4 men around him, and he scores.
The big guy does draw a crowd. 21 points tonight for Eki. Johnny Kuhn back in, number 4 for the Tigers.
Still has to make the free
That's
throw.
True, 6.8 seconds. Tigers have 1 timeout. And the 6'6" senior at the line, and the lead to the Vikings take the lead. Timeout with 6.8, 54-53. Nimitz. They were down 41-40 to begin this fourth quarter. Now the Tigers have the advantage. They'll have to go the length of the court.
Hey, you and I both know and understand that 6.8 seconds is a long time. I mean, they get from one end of the court to the other in about 3, and that gives you 3 seconds to set up a shot. The thing is, though, is the Tigers took the timeout. If it's correct, they haven't updated it on the scoreboard, but if it's correct, then Perry's out of timeouts. So it's not like you can go up to half court, call another timeout, and then set up the play from the half court line. You've got to go the distance. Here's right now, I think the advantage for Irving is they have 2 guys they can go to. They can go to Union or they can go to Nelson. Now, granted, Nelson's been the guy carrying the mail here in the second half and really down the stretch with some clutch shots, hit a couple of free throws. And so on the flip side, whereas Donaldson was knowing that Ecke's going to be double teamed, I think now Perry should realize that the double teams are going to be pointed toward number 10. And they're going to try to give him the basketball on the inbounds pass. And Sherman's a guy that's got to play D.
Saul Allen on the ball. Defensive pressure for the Nimitz Vikings. Allen guarding the inbounds pass. Radford looking. He gets it ahead to Nelson with 4 seconds. Nelson hands it off underneath the basket. Up and in. Micah Brooks with 1 second. Nelson on the assist. Micah Brooks finishes it off. 1 second left. 55-54 Tigers.
Well, as one might expect, you see the replay. There's Nelson. Look at that nice no-look pass to Brooks working the baseline. Here it is again. Coming right at you. Brooks look right. Pass left by Nelson. Brooks takes the pass, puts it in with 1 second to go. That's all the timeouts, I believe, left on both sides of the coin. And they're going to put, another 1/10 of a second on there?
Virtually no time at all.
No, I mean, it's a catch and throw. It's basically a catch and throw.
They cover the 94 feet. And they scored.
It started off, John, the inbounds pass. The Vikings played that so well for the first 3 seconds. And they played it, and they had 2 men basically trying to block off the inbounds pass to Nelson. And then Nelson broke free and got behind the defenders, and then all of a sudden you have like a 3-on-2. Look down underneath here. See, look, Nelson can't get free, but then all of a sudden he makes a nice move to break free. And then after that, you got a 3-on-2 break and a nice feed over to Brooks for the 2-pointer.
Well, Brooks finishes it off. His first 2 from the field. His 5th overall point. 0.2 left.
2 seconds. They put a second back on the clock. It's a toss. It's a toss and chunk, man. A toss and chunk.
And now another timeout taken.
Okay, that was the last now taken by the Vikings. It's one of those, I want to see how they're going to defend me. And then once I see how they're going to defend me, then I'm going to call a timeout.
You could try the old football pass the length of the court, hope for some contact. You could try that strategy.
The Christian Leitner play?
Hope for a whistle.
Have him, what is he, top of the key or midway between half court and the top of the key?
Right. But that's once in a century thing.
Yeah. It's a new year. We start fresh.
Yeah, you're right. Anything is open. So the lead at 1 point now gone. You're down by 1. And the Tigers see how they defend the inbounds. It'll be Davian Hopkins to play it in. At half court, you have Allen and Ecke, both standing side by side at half court. Who's on the ball? Micah Brooks on the ball.
You can throw the ball really high.
Yeah, you can.
Although you noticed they've now, have Avery on him, so there's a little size there now.
Here's Hopkins. And that's it. They got it to Sherman, but Sherman out of position. And just like that, the game is over, and the Tigers hold off the Vikings 55-54 as they pick up their first district win of the year. Irving now overall goes to 5-12. 3 players in double figures for the Irving Tigers. Rob Williman will get together with head coach Stephen Perry as we'll wrap things up here at Irving High. Irving goes to 1-1. The Vikings go to 0-2 in district play. Back with our wrap-up on our ICTN Game of the Week right after this. Tigers hold off the Vikings tonight 55-54 to collect their first district win of the year. Rob Williman with the victorious coach Stephen Perry.
All right, John, thank you very much. Well, you know, you've seen these for years and years and years, so no big surprise, but it's still fun nonetheless.
Well, but sometimes fun, you know, fun for the fans. A good game for the fans. This is what we get every time when we see Nimitz. Coach Donaldson over there does a great job with them. We knew it would be. Before we even tipped off, he said, hey, get ready for another close one, and that's what it was.
Let's talk about the last 2 series. You knew they were probably going to go to Eki. Did all you could. There's like 4 guys around him, and he still scored.
Eki's a heck of a player. We defended it well. He's a big, strong guy. He was tough in there, and he got the finish.
Now, that last play that put you guys ahead, it won't show up in the scorebook. But Trey's down there double-teamed, having to find a way to get free just to get down the court, and did an amazing job to work free.
Well, first of all, it's a great, good inbounds pass by Xavier Radford, you know, just getting it in. They put pressure too much on the front, so we got to lob it. Once we got that, we had numbers. Trey made a good dish. I think he's been doing that all night. This one, our senior Micah finished it, so that was huge.
It was one of those no-look passes that kind of really made it special.
Yeah, exciting. You win with seniors, and our senior setup showed up tonight. Senior point guard to a senior postman. He finishes. Great job for us. Great victory.
Indeed, and it's been a struggle. Hadn't been a fun year, but it's games like this that kind of make it all worthwhile, isn't it?
Well, you know, our pregame season wasn't what we wanted, but now we're in district. We're in our second season. Right now we're 1-1, and these guys know it. It's for all the marbles now. We're trying to take it one game at a time and see if we're there at the end.
Enjoy it for now.
Thank you.
All right, Coach. Congratulations. All right, John, back up to you.
All right, Rob, Coach, thank you very much. Take a look at some of the highlights here in the second half. Destin Eki really lighting up for the Nimitz Vikings. In the second half, he had 22 points on the night. He had 3 jams. Here's the second jam. Eki, and then able to get the basket in one as he turns, shoots, and scores. And then Eki with 2 more. 22 points he finishes with, a 6'6 senior. Some highlights for the Irving Tigers. Here's a steal by Trey Nelson. He will prove instrumental down the stretch as Nelson lays it up and in. He finished tonight with 20 points. 3 in the corner put in by Anthony Union, who had 17. And then Nelson with the last play of the game as he hands it off, and the game winner put up by Micah Brooks, who finished with 5. Destin Eki with 22. Justin Sherman double figures with 11. And then Devin Johnson with 9, Saul Allen with 8, your top 4 scores tonight for the Nimitz Vikings, who fall to 0-2. For the Irving Tigers, Trey Nelson poured in 20, Anthony Union had 17, Xavier Radford had 10, 47 of the 55 points out of the big 3, as the Tigers, who led 29-23 at the break, win it by 1. It was 53-51 with just under 20 seconds to play. The Vikings took the lead by 1, and then the Nelson handoff to Brooks to win it by 1. Well, a sweep tonight. The Lady Tigers winning earlier tonight by 10 as they pick up their second district win of the night, and the Irving Tigers collect district win number 1 in a thriller, 55-54. Our thanks to both head coaches, our outstanding ICTN production crew. For Rob Williman, once again, our final score, the Irving Tigers 55, the Nimitz Vikings 54. Until next time, this is John Nelson saying good night from Irving High.